Hey there guys, how are you? It's John Madrid here with John Madrid's Factory Direct Homes. Again, first and foremost, I'd like to thank you guys for watching the video, sharing the video, commenting on the video, and of course, applying for your new home with us and through us, okay? So what we like to do here is we like to come out with different topics or questions that you guys may have about the home buying process, right? So a lot of times customers like yourselves, or maybe you do, but a lot of times customers may not know which questions to ask. They just know, hey, I need a house, but that's really about it. They maybe didn't do enough research or something, and I'm not saying that you guys didn't, but that's what we're here for. We're here to help you and facilitate you guys through the home buying process. So today's topic that I'd like to discuss is what are existing utilities? So a lot of times you may think, okay, well, I have land, so I'm good to go with a house. And you may very well be. But if you're gonna have, if you have access to land or you own land, it's very important to know if you already have existing utilities or if you need utilities, right? So a lot of times we think, well, utilities, what does that mean? We know we pay utility bills like electricity or water or things like that, which those are basically what we're talking about. So let's just break it down to the basics. So existing utilities, what that means. If you guys have existing utilities, that means that you would have access to water, right? And typically you want to have it close by. So let's say you have a big piece of property and you have water 300 feet away, it might be better to set the house a little closer, right? We typically like to encourage you to set your new home within 50 feet of the house because that'll ensure that everything functions to the best of its ability. Now, that doesn't mean it can't be further, but ideally you don't want to have a water line pushing water 300 feet, right? I mean, you could if you had to, but again, under an ideal circumstance, the idea would be to have it close by. So we want to say functioning water. Now, if you're inside the city limits, you may have, a water tap. So that's okay too. If you're in the city limits, but you don't have a water tap, then you would need to contact the city and ask them, hey, what's the process of getting a water tap on this address? Now, if you don't want to deal with that or don't know how, call us because we do. That's what we do as a profession, so we're able to assist you with those with that process, okay? So existing water, right? So either a water well on site within 50 feet, or if you're in the city the city limits, a city tap for city water, right? And again, try to have it within 50 feet. It doesn't have to be that. That's not like a have to, it's just ideally you don't want it to be 500 feet away. Okay, so you have to have water, right? You wanna take a shower, wash clothes, do the dishes, things like that, okay? So then the next thing is power. So you have to have electricity, right? So that means that for you to have existing utilities as far as the power's concerned, if you're buying a new home or a relatively new home, your house is gonna require 200 amp service. Now, the reason I bring that up is because you may have like an older mobile home, and there's nothing wrong with that. We do trade-ins and things like that, but we may have to upgrade the electrical service. And the reason I say that is because older manufactured houses only used to use 100 amp service. Now they're 200 amp service. So it's a completely different box that you would need, but we also can help you with that. So if for some reason you're scared not to take the first step because you're like, well, I'm not sure if my utilities will work, just give us a call. Let's get you pre-qualified. Let's figure out what you need. We'll do a site check. We'll go out there and check your house out or your property where your house is gonna go and figure out if you do have existing utilities that are going to work, okay? So again, 200 amp service, and that's regardless if you're in the city or in the county. Now, if you don't have electricity out there, we would need to install a new 200 amp service pole, okay? So let's say you don't have one and we put the pole in for you. Before we could even put the pole in, you would need to contact your service provider, whoever that may be, and ask them to mark the spot where they would want you to put the new pole. Now there's gonna be like a form you have to fill out so that they can set up the transformer by the road properly, okay? But again, those are steps that if you're not sure what to do, you can just give us a call. We'll walk you through the process and assist you there, okay? Because again, it is kind of a process, right? All right, so we've covered water, Electricity, of course, you want your electricity to be, again, it doesn't have to be quite 50 feet, but again, you don't want it to be 700 feet away, because that's just going to cost you more money, and it's going to cost, just make the process a little more frustrating for you, which we want to make it as easy as possible. Okay, so existing utility means water, we've covered that. Working electricity, a standalone 200 amp service for your house. You don't want to be sharing it with another home or something like that. And then lastly, you have to have access to sewer, right? So let's say you're in the county, you may need a septic system, or maybe you have a septic system. Now, if you already have a septic system, again, just going off the same rule of thumb, you want to try to do or install your home within 50 feet of the septic, the water, and the electric. Now, if you're in the city limits, you could fall in a different couple of categories. You may already have that water tap that we talked about and a city sewer tap, and that's fine, right? But if you don't, but let's say you're in the city, we may have to go through the same process of figuring out what they require to come out and install the water in the sewer tap, or to have our licensed plumber go ahead and do the sewer and the water tap for you. All right, so guys, again, this is not an in-depth analysis. This was just a kind of an overview of what existing utilities are. And just to recap, you gotta have water, you gotta have sewer or septic, and you gotta have electricity, most likely 200 amp service, okay? So again, guys, we're here to help you. We appreciate you watching these videos, sharing these videos, liking these videos, commenting on these videos. Make sure that if you're in the market for a house, you apply with us today so we can help get you the best deal on the best house. And again, we have access to the most lenders out there on the market. So again, guys, this is your friend John Madrid. I really appreciate you guys watching this, and I look forward to helping you guys with your home soon. Thanks again.